Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I, of course, am Carl, the host with the most, because I try to bring you guys as much content as I can. Now, getting on to the video for today, of course, for those that haven't been watching or maybe didn't catch the last video or two, I have been just doing random machines and assortments that I have either gotten recently or maybe have just never had their chance in the spotlight. So now is that time. Now, one more thing I did want to get to real quickly is this. Now, have you ever asked yourself, man, some of those machines on his videos are pretty trick, man. They would look real good in my collection or house, apartment, domiciliary. But Constellation Carl has one rule about his video vacuum cleaners, and that is that they stick around in my collection unless it's a very special circumstance. However, we have a change. Now, for those that don't know, I also buy and sell vacuum cleaners, and this is one of those opportunities. I sell through eBay, of course, so everything on there is legit and buyable. I currently have about 4 or 5 listings up right now for vacuum cleaners, but I always am getting more and always am trading things out, or maybe things just don't need to be in my collection anymore. So that is where you can find it. I'll post a couple links down below for you guys that are interested in some of these kind of things. And please follow my eBay profile, and well, keep an eye open for whatever I got, and hit that little bell icon in your phone so that when I post stuff, well, it you get a shot at getting it too. Now, why am I holding these two? Well, what we have in front of us right now, anyways, is a Hoover Model 69 convertible and a Hoover Model 70 convertible. These are both early model convertibles. That's rounded hood, early design. They also have, if you can kind of tell right there on the edge of the base, the larger medallion style logo, the as far as I can tell, the more desirable of the metal bases. Now, these are a couple of my duplicates right now. For those that haven't been watching, I inherited the collection of a very close friend of mine who passed away, unfortunately, back a couple years ago. And I am just now going through everything and evaluating what I'm keeping versus what I'm getting rid of. And these are a couple of duplicates. Now, they are in phenomenal shape. They have been in a private collection for probably over 10 years for both of them. So they have been very well taken care of. Brand new bags and belts in each of them. Now, both of these convertibles are in phenomenal shape. They do have, well, a little bit of wear marks around the edges. They're not perfect. Like, they're not right out of the box, but, they are in very nice shape. The blue one, the Model 70, there is a little bit of fading on the hood, so it's a kind of a little bit darker, just from sitting in storage for so long, and as well as just age. I mean, these are, getting to be almost 60, 70 years old. But other than that, maybe a few scratches here and there from bumping into furniture and whatnot, but overall in phenomenal shape. It is all original, so it does have the original cord and plug, as well as the original handle grip up here. So this one is a phenomenal machine. You'll see my pricing on eBay. If you do have questions about pricing on this one, definitely feel free to hit me up there. Like I said, the link will be down below. I do not wish to discuss pricing within my videos, so I like to keep that private. But either way, going to the 69, it does have a little bit more wear than the Model 70. It's got some more scratches on the base, as well as one kind of scrape up on the hood. But overall, nothing that's not, detrimental to the function of the machine. Plus, it still looks fantastic either way. It also has the original cord and plug, as well as the original handle grip and factory red power switch. I know that looks odd on a machine that is all turquoise, but early Hoover convertibles had um, a red power switch going back to the Model 65. The 66 did have the option of a black one or a red one, and then the 67 red, 68 I believe was also red or white, and then the 69 red again. This one does have a little bit of fraying on the sides of the bag. You'll see better pictures of that on my eBay listing. But overall, like I said, this machine is fantastic. They both run amazingly. Both, like I said, brand new bags and belts. So these will be all ready to go. If you are a collector and definitely want to add a early model convertible to your collection, these are the ones to look for. They're getting harder to find as days go by. And honestly, if I didn't already have two of them in my collection, I'd be keeping both of them, no questions asked. Um, like I said, you only find these original once. A lot of the time, vacuum shops got them. They put new bags on them. They put new cords, new plugs, or even completely different handles on them just because they sometimes had to work with what they had. So it's very important to note the condition of these machines, regardless of the little imperfections that they have. But I did want to talk about these today because they are fantastic machines. They haven't really gotten a video dedicated on them, but hey, now you can say you've had one from a Constellation Carl vacuum exposition video in case you're a fan and, well, you'd like to become a mega fan. Heck, if you want, I'll even sign it if that really makes a difference. But anyways, so these are available on eBay. Please go check them out. The more you guys take a look and help support the different aspects of my channel, the better, and the more awesome stuff that I can keep bringing to you guys. So, but anyways, let's move on from here. I've got another really awesome machine to look at with you guys today that I have been absolutely ecstatic to bring to you guys. I know I say that about a lot of them, but this one is very, very special to me, as well as the vacuum community. So let's get on to that and check out another really cool one. All right, everybody. So we have an oddity to talk about today. Now, I know I've mentioned several times on the channel my good friend Jared down in Oregon. He has been a close friend of mine for probably the better part of 2, 3, 4 years almost now. And me and him have been dealing in vacuum cleaners, well, the entire time. And I've traded with him several times, and he's gotten some pretty cool stuff from me, as well as I've gotten some really cool stuff from him. Well, this one is no different. So, what we're looking at here is a 1998 Electrolux Lux Royale model D820 JP. Now, I know I mentioned this several times that I have no idea what these model numbers or acronyms stand for, but I've got a good idea on a few of these. Now, this is the model D820 JP. JP, in this regards, stands for Japan. Now, I know this is odd. For Electrolux people, you're going, what the heck? This looks quite a bit newer. Carl, why are we looking at something like this? You know, it's a funky looking machine. Um, do tell. I will. Don't get me wrong, I will. Now, this particular machine, like I said, I got this from Jared, and he actually imported it over from Japan. Now, Jared is a huge fan of Japanese machines, and well, he has brought over quite a few over the years, and I've made some deals with him on some of them, this one included. Now, as far as the make on this machine, this is actually a Swedish machine. So Lux, that branding with the red symbol on there, is different than Eris, which is what we have here in the United States, as well as other parts of the world. But the Lux branding came straight out of Sweden. You see a lot more in the UK, and at least a decent amount of them over in Japan as well. Now, I say Japan, that JP, Very, very, very significant in this case because it means it does have a different motor and runs off of a different amperage than you would get with a one in the UK, of course. Different motor, different plugs, all kinds of stuff. This machine has been all over the world, basically. It was made in Sweden. So you did have your time stint there. Then it was shipped over to Japan. And it was used as their daily driver vacuum cleaner for a very long time. They took very good care of it. And then they sold it online, and Jared imported it over here. So it has been from Sweden to Japan to the United States. It has done more traveling than I have at this point. But a lot of my vacuums have, unfortunately, but fortunately, I guess. But this machine is quite interesting, though. My research told me it came from 1998, but it's really hard to find anything out about these that isn't from a Vacuum Land post forum. There was, I believe, a model D730 that Jared also has that looks quite a bit different than this. That came out, I think, a couple years before. But this one was their first of the nice, sleek styling with the different control panels and everything. If you look kind of on the back, it not only has your power button and your cord rewind, kind of on those big buttons, but then there's one more big button that also has a suction control. So you can go from doing the carpets to doing delicates and fragile things, which for a canister vacuum or for really any vacuum cleaner is big news. Now, for Electrolux people, I know you're looking at this thing going, what the heck is this? Now, this is the power nozzle, but it is quite a bit different than what we got over here. Now, Electrolux in the UK was quite a bit different, being as that they were technically a totally separate entity. So this was a very common power nozzle for the UK machines, but with this being a Swedish-made machine, they, of course, went with this. And I will assure you, this is a very, very quiet power nozzle, and that big headlight does do a fantastic job. Now, there is so much to talk about this machine, and I absolutely can't wait to. So let's get on to the next part about this that I found just fascinating that Jared actually showed me as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the hose off of the power nozzle real quick. And before we move on to the next aspect of this machine, before we put the power nozzle aside, this machine is so cool. It actually has like what I would consider kind of like a phone cord that goes to the power nozzle. And maybe other machines, maybe even stuff in the United States has this, but when he pulled it out, I was blown away because this just looks so neat. I mean, it's just different. We didn't have stuff like this in the United States, but very, very nice power nozzle, all aluminum, of course, and it does, like I said, a fantastic job. But let's get on to the hose. Now, the D820, as well as other machines before it, had this style of hose. It kind of had a vinyl-esque handle grip. You had a thumb control suction relief right up here, as well as you had a hanger on the hose for your dusting and upholstery tool. I love that. Now, earlier Electroluxes in the United States, at least, you had the same type of a setup where it kind of had this fold out, which it would become your upholstery tool. But essentially, what you'd have to do is kind of try to click it on to the machine somewhere, or maybe kind of jam it up onto the handle so it would stay with the machine. But this little clip right here that holds it on is just so nice. And it doesn't hold it like it doesn't click on or anything. It's just kind of friction fit. But I really like it just because the convenience. Because when you're vacuuming, you know, like say you want to do, you know, some spill cleanup and then you want to go do your countertops, click, and then this thing is ready to go and you're back in business. So very, very interesting little addition they did. The next thing, of course, now this is a pigtail hose, so you can see this wire that goes all the way down. The reason being is you can unclip the wire that goes onto the hose and then just use it for doing floor cleaning and anything else. But look at this hose. This has got to be one of the biggest hoses I have seen on a canister vacuum. I mean, like, I can't comprehend it. It's just Like, it's thick. So very, very interesting. And of course, you have your power nozzle plug right up here at the front, which makes that easy. And then it is just a simple twist and release. So very, very neat hose. Very, very handy. It's kind of funny. It's still a very thick hose, but it's more thick at the canister connection right here than it is up at the handle. So it very ever so slightly tapers all the way down to the actual handle end of the handle. So very, very cool aspect of this machine. Now getting onto the canister itself. Now, like I mentioned before, we have the suction relief. So you had a minimum as well as maximum suction relief, as well as a temperature light in case it started getting too hot, and a bag light in case the bag got full. Earlier Electroluxes did have a bag eject, as well as lack of suction or loss of suction light that would come on as well, but that would be right here on this machine. Now, in order to, of course, change that, you do kind of what you do with a Hoover Dimension canister and just click this all the way up and then click it all the way back down. Now, this being a deluxe machine, you, of course, had a cord reel or cord rewind, if you will, right here next to the power button. So essentially, you'd pull your cord out to go do your work, and then you'd hit the button and it goes back in. This machine did have a full set of tools, as well as a big duffel bag that had like a sander and all kinds of other assorted like carpet cleaning stuff. That stuff I left in storage just because I won't be able to demonstrate all that today. Now, normal Electroluxes, at least in the United States, we saw handles that went, well, more with the body line of the machine, not kind of like this. I actually really like this, and some Electroluxes do have this today. It just makes it easier for you to carry. When the handle is, with the direction of the machine, you have to carry it sideways, where this you can pick it up and a lot easier to take it upstairs. So definitely more of a comfort cut handle, if you will. Now this machine also is a filtered machine. We'll take you around to the back side here. And here we are, we have a HEPA filter right in this little compartment. As you can see, it has been used, but it's still in really, really good shape. Since I got it from Jared, it has not been used very much, and I don't think it was used a terrible amount when he had it either. Now, there's one more aspect. Of course, this machine is still a canister, so it does roll around on the floor quite well, and it has some big wheels. On this side, we can even see the Made in Sweden sticker, has the flag on there. Very nice, very nice. Now, there's one more aspect of this machine that I wanted to talk about that I didn't really realize until, well, I had it sitting right in my eye line. If you look at the front of the machine right here, as you can see, kind of interesting, isn't it? Maybe not if you don't know what you're looking at. But what do you notice about this that just kind of looks oddly familiar? If you said, I feel like I've seen that somewhere. Carl, do tell. Well, what this looks like, at least it looks like to me, is the front end of an Electrolux Model 30. Possibly the most common machine that we had here in the United States throughout the 30s all the way into the 50s. The Electrolux Model 30, and I'll show a picture one right here. As you can see, it looks very streamlined. Definitely had a certain look about it. I mean, there was even a train that looks just like it. But that Art Deco styling, very, very interesting for the front end of this machine, because as you can see, the bumper that kind of goes around the side curves all the way around to the back of the machine, just like the ribbing that goes along the side of the Model 30. Now, it doesn't say Electrolux down it like the 30 does, but looking at the front, it's got this swooped upwards kind of front end of it. The bumpers that go around the back, of course, obviously the hole for where the hose goes in. And the front cap of the machine actually just comes down and just kind of like the Model 30 does. Now, the Model 30s actually does come off, but when you take the little lever, kind of like right here, it brings it forward, front, down. Um, but very, very interesting. Just the styling just looked so, so similar. I know in the United States we did have the Lux Guardians and stuff like that that were pretty similar to this in a lot of ways. That the fronts had a little bit more of a swoop, but I just seeing this, something that came from Sweden, that went to Japan, to see the styling that just very closely resembles the earlier models, well, it was just something interesting to see. And we'll definitely be taking a look at more Electrolux canisters, and I'll try to point that kind of stuff out. Now, one more thing about this machine that I wanted to point out that was quite wild, that Jared actually showed me, is still at the front again. Now, you can't tell, but for storage and to keep this thing, relatively clean and sterile, I guess, there's actually a little door that closes off the suction hole in the front. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's for the blower attachment if you wanted to use a blower on it. I haven't figured out how the blower would work. There's not an auxiliary output hole, and your exhaust comes out through the filter through the back, so don't know how that might work. Need to read up and translate the manual for this at some point, but it's just fascinating because it's like a little garage door, a reverse garage door, if you will, because it goes up instead of down. So we'll just open that right back up so that we can, use the machine. So very, very, very interesting canister. And of course, a big, big thank you to Jared, who allowed me to take this with me on my last trip. This machine is actually quite a bit special, and I don't know if even he knows how special it is, at least to me. Now, on one of the last few visits that I went down to see him, I actually got an Airbnb. Now, that's about year, maybe even 2 years ago now. And, this is one of those big reasons why he and I are close friends. When I came into town, he asked me for my address. I gave it to him, of course. He came over to my little Airbnb and brought this over. I even said, well, man, I really probably shouldn't be running a vacuum cleaner. I think it was like 11 o'clock at night or something. He said, don't worry, this thing is so quiet, you won't even be able to hear it. And he was right. And I'll demonstrate that in a run demo, but it was just, it meant a lot to me anyways, for him to bring something he really, really cared about at the time to share with me and play around with it. Even though it was like late and, you know, both of us had been up for majority of the day and gotten up way early. I mean, I had worked a full day before I had gone down, and then I drove the 3.5 or so hours to get down there, so I was pretty groggy. But it did mean a lot to you know for him to come on over and not only say hi and visit once I got into town, but also to bring over a really, really cool machine that obviously without him I would never have been able to play with or nonetheless own at some point. So it is a very, very important machine to me, and I consider it a very, very important part of me and his friendship. So Jared, if you're watching right now, thanks again, man. I really do appreciate it. It is a really cool machine, and it's definitely not going anywhere. So, but without further ado, let's get on to our run demo and see how this thing does on the floor. All right, my friends, so we have the Electrolux or Lux Royale model D820 JP all plugged and ready to go. This machine runs fantastic, and I can't wait to get it out and, well, run it for you guys. So let's get this thing going and see how it does. And there you have it, folks. The old Electrolux model D820 JP really did a great job. I mean, this thing really does dig into the carpet and just absolutely performs well. It makes total sense why the Japanese would love it, because it is just so quiet and it's not very heavy. I know a big issue with a lot of American canister vacuums is that they're just so heavy. This isn't very heavy. It's aluminum, it looks like, and it's very, very lightweight, and it just works. Power nozzle does fantastic. The machine has plenty of power, and with the adjustable automatic suction control, it doesn't do any damage to the floor going full bore like you would think. It actually measures the air and eventually leads it up into full power, rather than, you know, going at it, you know, full speed ahead. So very, very cool machine. Very, very much a nice one to use as well. So I hope you enjoyed our little run demo with the 820 JP. Well, everybody, thank you again for joining us for another episode today. This machine, well, if you're into the older things, you're probably not super into, but if you're into the newer things, you may not be into it either. Who knows? I don't know. But I hope you all gave this a watch today, just because it is very important. It is a very important machine here in the United States as well, because, I mean, you will see them in pictures, but you probably won't see one physically here in the United States unless you imported it in or something like that. But last I checked, I have not seen any others of these imported in the United States, at least one that was a Japanese import that can actually be used on our circuitry here in the United States. This machine, like I said, it's very, very important, not only to vacuum cleaner history, but also just to me. It does represent a very, very close friendship that I have with another collector, and it is something that I definitely will not take for granted. It runs fantastic. It does exactly what it should. It's in phenomenal shape, and it's really deserved its retirement from being a daily driver. Now, I'll use it, of course. It works fairly well, and I do have a spare bag in case, for any reason, I should fill the bag that's in this thing. But it will definitely be, well, sitting in the lap of luxury on the shelf with many other historical machines, as well as the rest of my collection. So again, I did want to thank my good friend Jared, the last owner who supplied this machine to me. Again, it is a very, very important machine, and I will forever cherish this one for sure. But anyways, so to recap on today, if you did want to purchase either of those convertibles, I will, like I said, post the links down below to my eBay listings. They are in fantastic shape, and they really deserve to be in another collector's home and collection. They are fantastic, and for those that have not been able to get their hands on them, definitely pick these up while they're still available. The metal bases are getting harder to find. Plastic bases are getting hard to find. So it's really just a machine that, well, they're just not as prevalent as they used to be. So, and they do a fantastic job on the floor. And then, of course, the Electrolux here, awesome machine. I was super, super happy to bring you guys this. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. If you do want to hear more about my channel, if you do want to know when I'm posting more stuff, feel free to ring that little bell icon off to the side down below, because that will tell you when I'm doing stuff, when I'm uploading, when my videos are going live, and all that jazz. So, well, you all have a great rest of your weekend and a fantastic next week. And we will catch you again here, same time, same place, same guy, different vacuum or vacuums. And we'll catch you again next time. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.